were getting rain, some thunder about 10 or 15 minutes ago. I thought we might get some rain to water the garden, but it looks like it might be trying to pass over this time. And this is my squash plant. I have tried 3 times to plant squash this year. This is the furthest that this one's ever gotten, but it's dying, I think. This is my store romaine root off of some romaine lettuce from the store. Hasn't died yet, but it's not growing either. And this is my other sad little zucchini plant. Don't think it's going to make it. This here is a tomato plant that my aunt gave me. I'm not sure what kind it is. She didn't have room in her garden for it, so she gave it to me. So I planted it. Figured why not. These are my kidney beans. These are starting to set on pods already. I forget when I planted them, but it wasn't that long ago. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's a little bean. They flowered really quick. They did last year. They set on pretty quick. They did last year, and then it takes forever for them to grow because you harvest them in the fall once the bean has dried, the pod is dried out. So it's still going to be a while, but I'm tickled that they're setting on. This is my second patch of potatoes that were my experiment. These were from store-bought potatoes. Now granted, I failed to add dirt to them and heal them up like I should, so I'm not going to get a whole lot. But any potato I have is a potato I didn't have before, and they are getting kind of expensive. So those should be dying back pretty soon. They're already attempting to. I figure I'll harvest them within about a month. These are my carrots. I'm wanting to try and harvest them this evening when the shade comes over and it gets cool. I've kind of let them go too long, but we're going to pick one here and see what they look like. I don't know if I can pick one and keep you in frame at the same time. Yep, those are the Denver Minis. So those turned out pretty good size. So I say they're ready to pick. So I will put these in my gathering bucket over here with my eggs right there. And then I will plan on picking the rest of them. Down here in this little container is where I attempted to grow basil. That was planted 2 months ago. Don't think much is going to come of it, but I attempted to. This is store-bought basil, which looks like I need to pick off some blooms. This was one plant in store-bought basil and I broke it up. I need to harvest this. So excuse my fingers. I'm not the best photographer. This is my 3rd attempt, like my squash, to plant cucumbers this year. I did really well with cucumbers last year. This year I like to never got them to germinate. I'm not sure what the deal was, but I've got some that's come up, but I don't know if they're going to have time to do much of anything. Those are Boston picklers. These are my Romas. Come back a little bit. They have really grown. The last Romas I had, either last year or year before, I don't remember them getting that big. They were listed as Romas. I have a few that's come on, if you can see here, that do look like Romas. I don't know if you can see that. Lots of flowers, looking quite healthy. So we can only hope, but there's only 2 plants there because that's all I could find when I went to shop for them. This is my mint plant that I've had the 3rd year. I just leave it in this container over the winter. Does its thing. I need to harvest it as well, some of it. These are my strawberry plants, well, what's left of them. This is going on the 4th year. These are the type I think that weren't supposed to bloom, produce more than 3 years. I'm on year 4, so I'm letting them ride. And I've got some over here as well from the same batch. I have one die in here, it looks like. I very rarely get any what they call shoots off of them, so there's not really any way that I can propagate them. And these really do look like they're dying in this one this year. These are still looking a little bit better. This is my pepper patch. This spot here was where I had a green pepper that died. 2 peppers set on, it died. Last week, this spot here had a cayenne pepper plant in it. Had about 10 or 12 cayennes on it, about ready to turn. It died. shriveled up and died, so I took them off, and I'm hoping that they'll turn. If not, they say they can still be used. This is a sweet banana pepper plant, and this is a sweet banana pepper plant, which I've already harvested 6 off of so far, and I do have several more setting on. This is my only green pepper plant, bell pepper plant. I do have one on there, maybe a couple, but I ain't gonna get too much out of that one. This one, and this one are cayennes. I still have 3 cayenne pepper plants left. And let me take you over here, show you these other ones. These are orange pepper plants here, these 4, and the 4 on the front here are red pepper plants. I've never done those. I do love sweet peppers, so I'm hoping they do well. They do have several peppers on them. I'm just kind of impatient when it comes to waiting for stuff to turn. These are my onions, planted in the spring. They're supposed to be fall harvest, but they look like they might be getting ready to be harvested. They're pushing up out of the soil, and some of them, their blades are falling over, so we'll see. This is my yellow squash plant. Again, took 3 plantings to get this to come up. It's flowering, but nothing's setting on. It must be all male or female. I had that problem last year too. That one over there, this one, and this one are my experimental plants. These were suckers off of my major group of tomatoes that grew. So I'm hoping, even though they will start later in the season, I'm hoping to at least get me some green tomatoes off of it to can up for fried green tomatoes and to make some green tomato salsa. Time will tell. This is my cantaloupe. Same case as the rest of my squash. Took forever to get anything to germinate. Flowers like crazy, but they keep falling off. Must not be both male and female. I just planted these about a week ago. I'm kind of late planting them because I couldn't decide if I wanted to do it or not. But they seem to be popping up well. These are my bush beans. I wasn't going to do green beans this year, just kidney beans. I thought I'd better. So this is my bush bean bed here. This was my primary potato bed. I dug all my potatoes last night. Then for this fall, I'm thinking of using it for my lettuce and my broccoli bed and spinach maybe. We'll see. I've never tried to grow anything like that in the fall. So again, experiment, but you know, you never know till you try. This is my tomato bed. These are big beef on this side, and I'll show you the other side. They're sweet 100s, I think. They are loaded with tomatoes. They've been loaded with green tomatoes for 3 weeks now. I haven't had any of my big ones turn. Now my little tiny ones over here, I'm pretty sure they're sweet 20s, sweet 100s maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I did tag. You can see them here. I have picked 3 off of that. I have one back there that's almost ready, one here that's blushing. So they are trying to do their thing. All kinds of blooms on it. I have bees on them. It's a happy day with these. They all, you know, produce. This is my pumpkin plant, first year grown pumpkin. Again, 3 times sowing to get it to come in. And this is my other pumpkin plant. These are my cushaw plants, and I see that I have a cushaw flower back there, which has come up since yesterday. Can you see it there? Let me see if I can get it. It's going everywhere. Let me see. There it is. First cushaw bloom. Hopefully it'll turn into something. I have another one there in the middle. I planted 3 because, again, they took forever to come up. But I don't really have room for 3, and I don't have a need for 3. So this one here has been trying to die for a week. So I'll probably end up pulling it up because I didn't really need 3 to begin with, and I don't think it's going to survive. And that, I believe, is all of my garden. Oh, no. Yeah. Other than my blueberry bush and my raspberry bush, but there's nothing spectacular about them. You know, they're just Raspberry bush isn't producing. Third year having it. My blueberry bush is producing quite well for the third year. Blueberries are delicious. Oh, I forgot my butternut plant. It's not blooming yet, but it looks like it's getting ready to. All my squashes took 3 plantings to get anything to come up. So if I get anything out of my squashes, I will be very, very happy. And that's my guardian chicken right there. Let me show you that. Got that a couple years ago at Tractor Supply on sale. I love him. The cayenne pepper plant I had that wilted and died, I pulled it and said I pulled it up. Well, it had about 8 or 10 peppers on it that were still green. I read somewhere online that if you keep them in a warm, sunny place, in 3 to 4 days, they may ripen. So I strung them together and I hung them in my window here. And by Thursday, I'll know if they're going to ripen or not. I can still use them. I mean, I'm going to make crushed red pepper, but this be crushed green peppers for stuff. But I wanted to see if I could get them to ripen because I'd rather them be red. So here's hoping and fingers crossed.